deserve a standing ovation. You haven't heard me brief yet. So we're trying to go back and forth. They want me to give this speech, read all these words out to you, and I hate doing that. So we're going to do something different. I'm going to use audience participation, so I hope the mic person, are you taking this? I hope you're ready to follow me around. So, I tell people all the time that you are responsible for me. You, ladies and gentlemen, are responsible for me because this is my third time here to Fort Leonard Wood. So first as a brigade commander, second as a commandant, and now as the commanding general. So each time that I have come here, I have seen how much Fort Leonard Wood has changed and the community has changed for the better. But we cannot rest on our laurels because we know that only a matter of time we can go back to where we were. And for about the next 10 to 15 minutes, I want to talk about why sustainability is important, some things that we've already done ourselves from a framework perspective, and then why I think it's so important. Our job, my job, is to train and equip soldiers to do the nation's business. Now, if I walk past you, don't get nervous. But I might ask you a question. And who's been in the Army? How many retired military? Okay, quite a few. So we have divisions and corps and operational and institutional forces. And Fort Leonard Wood is one of the 8 centers of excellence for the Army when it comes to training. That's a big deal. 8, one of 8. And we are the oldest because we were the first that were put in this environment. So people look to us for direction and guidance. And bottom line is we know that resources are going to be closing over time or dwindling over time. So we have to figure out how do we as a community become more effective and efficient before we're told to do that. So when I heard about the Sustainable Ozarks Partnership, I knew that this was a great idea and I wanted to be involved in it. And we have which I'm still learning about, the Integrated Installation Strategic Sustainability Plan, or ISSP, and that you have used that to help us to do what we need to do. And so, since we're also the home engineers, we think about energy a lot. And so I'm really focused on making sure we do the right thing when it comes to energy. How do we reduce our energy consumption? How do we increase our efficiency? How do we use renewable things? And one thing that if you did know this, we were one of the only bases that did their 4th of July celebration. Now, sir, how are we able to do that? You, sir. Yes, sir. You.
Because I think
now tell us who you are first so I can get to know you.
Dr. Kendall Bruni.
I'm going to walk up to you so everybody can hear you.
Dr. Kendall Bruni, with Veteran Villages of America, professor from the University of North Texas.
Okay.
So we work on sustainability.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So I would say you probably had the resources and capabilities or
No.
Leftover money?
No.
You had ballistic specialists.
All right. Yeah, we have EOD, right. No, it was actually recycling. Think about it. Recycling dollars allowed us to have one of the best that I have seen in the last 3 to 5 years, even though the weather was coming in, 4th of July celebrations. Recycle dollars. So now, when I'm recycling my stuff, I say, hey, let me have that. I take other people's stuff. Because I know what it does for us. And I think the community can benefit from those aspects also. And from other areas that we've done to reduce energy, we have simulators, many of the state-of-the-art of all 3 of our regiments, and the transportation, you see the trucks driving on base. The kids spend a lot of time driving in the simulators before they start getting on the road, which is a good thing. And other things, yeah, it's a good thing. Well, if you're about this tall and you're driving a truck this big, it's really scary. Utilize dining facilities, so as our training load goes up and down, we make decisions, or the garrison commander recommends which dining facilities that we close. I know sometimes that's painful, but from an energy perspective, it's better to have a 110% used data facility versus 2 that are running at 50 or less percentage. Also looking at how we use and getting rid of those temporary barracks that we've had as we have grown. You see the new facilities that have gone up here. And then something that I have not seen before, an automatic computer shutdown. So if at night you don't shut your computer down, they shut it down for you. What's that thing? It's a big green sign that says, shut off your computers or we will do it for you. That doesn't really say that, but that's my line, I'm sticking to it. So over the last 8 years, we've saved a lot of money of cost savings when it comes to electricity. Where's that electricity co-op? Is he here? He's not here. I was going to call him out. Now you can go back and tell him that. No, I'm joking. But we really got to figure out how we become more efficient. And then lighting retrofits in many areas, updating HVAC, and making sure that we do things when it comes to renewable energy. Now, this location, we would love it to be at a location where we could use windmills or other places, but it's not necessarily good for that. So we have to think about what are better ways that we can use wind, solar, water, which we have a lot of, to do the things we need to do. So on our base, many of our lights are solar powered that sit there. Some of the stop signs, the stoplights are solar powered. So we try to use as many things as we use. And if you see the new facilities where the single soldier barracks are, they even have pods that are on there that have, I think it's that for heat and water. Yep, heat and water. Okay. Then we got to look at those future gaps. And we talked about recycling already. And another thing I learned since I've been back here, we've upgraded our wastewater treatment plant because when it's more efficient, it turns the water a lot quicker, and then it comes back to us. And that carbon footprint that we talked about before. So we've made a lot of progress, but we know it's going to be challenging because we know over time there will be less money. So that's where the community comes in. We need your help as a community, not as a separate part of here or part of there, as a community to figure out those solutions so we can project before and lead, what we call it in the Army, lead up to others to show what needs to happen. So for example, if it's in the best interest of Fort Leonard Wood and in the best interest of St. Robert, Waynesville, and the overall community, we have to step forward and do it. We have to step forward and do it. And it's always uncomfortable with change. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
But if we don't step forward and do it, then we'll be told what we need to do. Just like the decisions that many made, and I'm a chemical guy by trade, if they had not moved the MP and chemical branches out here to Fort Leonard Wood, think about the differences that we would have. I would have never been a brigade commander. Yes, I would. but not here. I would have been a brigade commander some other place. But think about that. And if I hadn't been a brigade commander, would I have made general officer? Bringing these 3 regiments together was a decision that was hard at the time to do it. And oh, by the way, I wouldn't be the CG here of those decisions. Think about the foresight, but how painful it was at the time. So what I would leave you with, you can ask me any questions that you want, about how we make sure we continue to improve our quality of life for our folks. Because bottom line for me, I'm thinking about that soldier, that sailor, the airman, marine, the civilians, and their families that come here to serve our nation. And I told a group of folks when I first got here, my previous job, I was in charge of all the explosive ordnance disposal and weapons of mass destruction soldiers for the Army. We were in 16 states, 19 installations. So in that 3 years time frame, we buried 20 soldiers. Each one of those soldiers served not because they were getting a great paycheck. Each one of those soldiers served to take care of their brother or their sister or take care of our nation. So that's what drives me. And that's what I'm telling you. That's what we need your help to do. To look above our individual requirements of what we have to look forward to what the nation calls on us to do. That might be kind of heavy for some people. I'm talking about nation stuff. I'm not talking about Fort Leonard Wood. I'm not talking about Waynesville. I'm not talking about St. Robert. I'm not talking about all the counties associated that are here. I'm talking about nation stuff that we have the capability to do. And if you didn't know that, we have one-of-a-kind capability that exists here. There's no other place, not only in the United States, but the world. Did you guys know that? Somebody, we don't know. If you don't know that, you can come talk to me about it. I think I'll be here for a little bit. But there's one-of-a-kind capability. And those are the things that we have to make sure we leverage to show people what we do. Show us what we have the capability to do, but also be bold enough, to be brave enough, and be strong enough to make those choices that will be tough to have us move forward in the community and in the future. So, you know what drives me every day, what my focus is. But I'm just so glad to be back, to be amongst our family. And you are part of the family, you know that, right? Okay. And you know, I'm not Italian, but if I was, my name would be Don. And this is a mafia. Okay? And there's some other mafia heads that are here. I have to genuflect to them too. So they let me in a circle so now I could, we can rub elbows. But those relationships do matter. And you know about all those things, but I want to show you something else. Come here, Phil. And I want to tell you how important this is. Some people have seen me do this, but I'll do it again. Let me have your hand. I don't want that one. Give me this one. So, some people are smiling. Look at it. Colonel, you smiling at me. Why? You the first time you saw me hold his hand? You're not supposed to let the cat out of the bag. So think about it. I'm holding his hand. We're not shaking hands, but this is the collective togetherness that we got to have in the things that we do. So slide to your right. So keep going. Keep going. So if something affects him, keep going. I got to move with him, right? So if I pull him this way, this is what I'm talking about. This is what we have to be as a community and as a region to do what we need to do, especially when it comes to sustaining partnerships. Okay? And this is my promise to you that we'll be linked with what you're doing, and we expect you to do the same with us. Thank you very much. So I got a little time for some questions. You want to ask me some questions? Anything? Nothing's off the table. If I can't tell you, I'll say I can't tell you. Yes, sir.
I'll start it off.
This is not staged, by the way. Go ahead.
Sir, a great address, and partnerships obviously are what we're about here today. We have people from all over the four-county region who are really focused on the good works that you said. One of the difficulties I think we've all had here in the past is we've gotten organized around challenges, but they've been sort of one-off kinds of challenges. Army 2020 and the listening session was one great example. We responded great. But what we've heard from our speakers today and what we hear from Washington is this is a long struggle. This is a campaign, and we're going to have to put in place an organization here that is enduring, it's systematic, and it's strategic in its focus. And here's my question, sir. So how do we work with Fort Leonard Wood and with the Army to make sure that we have that enduring kind of relationship?
Normally when you don't know what you're going to say, you say, very good question. But I haven't answered that. So as we have sent out information, requesting from the community about what are your challenges, what things that we need to improve in from the base, and the purpose behind that is called the Commander's Assessment. We have about 90 days to do that. So based off that, we're going to come up with a campaign plan. We will share it with the community, and I would suggest that we do the same thing within the community. Like a campaign plan of where we want Fort Leonard Wood and the surrounding community to be in 20 years. A strategic plan. Okay? And so work what those are, and then once you identify where we want to go, we go back and identify what are the ways that we're going to get there, and then what are the means, and ways and means process. And then you assign people a different line of effort. So, hey, Waynesville, you may be responsible for this line of it, but you're doing it for the community. St. Robert, you might be this, or Raleigh, you might be this. And so we assign responsibility, and that's how we communicate outside of the community. So as we say, hey, let me tell you why we're doing this. It's for this end state. This is the way we think we're going to get there, and this is how you can help us. Did I answer your question, sir? Yeah. Okay. Who else? Yes. I'll bring the mic to you. You got the general doing some work.
What is your secret? What's the capability that we have that nobody else has?
Okay. Can't you see? No. One-of-a-kind capabilities.
Yes.
The County Explosive Hazard Center, one-of-a-kind. The CDTF, the Chemical Defense Training Facility, one-of-a-kind, only in DOD. The forensic lab that we have, one-of-a-kind. Special Victims Unit training, one-of-a-kind. And I could go on and on. What did I miss? Terror facility, one-of-a-kind. We train first responders, the weapons of mass destruction civil support teams, which are in 57 locations in the United States. That's one-of-a-kind. Good people, the best community, one-of-a-kind. And I've been other places, trust me. They would really like you. We just want your money. Okay. Did I answer your question, man? So my task back to you is you got to come learn about what we are and who we are, what we do. Okay? Whom else? Yes, sir. Yes, Joe.
Thank you, sir, for all of your outstanding leadership there. With the assets that we have here at Fort Leonard Wood, what a great place to make this a center of homeland security for our nation.
I agree, but it has to come with resources. So what, and I'll be honest, at this level, it's not as much fun as when you were brigade commander. Because when it comes to me, it's always hard stuff. So that's a hard thing. So bottom line is, if we want to make that the case, then we got to convince people to bring requirements, but also resources associated with it. Because you only got a pie. That pie is sliced very thin anyway. So I can't slice it to 1/18 of an inch. So I think it's a great idea too, but it's got to come with the resources associated with it. Okay, and that's how you can help. Whom else? But that was the question, that was a statement, sir. That's okay, you're general, I'll let you slide. Who? Yes. CT, make me some coffee, please.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
And thanks again for coming out here today. Before you came in, you sent out a survey to some of the community leaders. I got two questions. So the first one is, what did you glean from that survey, and how can we help you get after the things that we asked you?
Okay. We're still gleaning, so it's in the process of being there. But one thing I would tell you is just an overview. Community involvement is important. We need to talk. So that's part of the reason why we had the furlough town hall, because people need to hear from the commander. I mean, so that there's only one commander on Fort Leonard Wood. I mean, there's a lot of commanders. There's only one installation commander, and that's me. And so you need to hear from the commander, and then we need to have a dialogue about what things we need to do. Even if I say this is where we're going to go, and it may be different than what you think it needs to be, that's what I get paid to do, to make those decisions associated with it. And then from that, as we make that decision, we will share that information with you. And my guys are like, yeah, we're going to share the information. Because that's part of the survey process. Once we receive those things in, we're going to publish strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to talk about where we need to go, which will form as the basis of our campaign plan to attack those things to get out. Okay?
Cool.
All right.
I had two questions, but
Go
I
ahead.
don't want to steal the floor from
Go
anybody.
ahead.
The next question is, it's a tourism-based question, and,
Sure.
and Fort Leonard Wood being the national treasure that it is, and the opportunities that we have to showcase Fort Leonard Wood,
Yep.
I guess I would ask, can we showcase the demand generator that it is, the museums, the great history of Fort Leonard Wood? I guess my question is, can we allow it to be an open house, if you will, to bring folks from throughout the country to come here and see it.
Let me lay something even heavier on you.
Oh.
So, driving down the road from St. Louis, it's a long distance between here and Lake of the Ozarks. So why don't we have a waypoint where guys can come fish, hunt, hang out,
Stay in hotels.
stay in hotels?
Yes.
I know what you're thinking about, right? Between those two places. Or stop before you go to Springfield. I mean, world-class fishing, world-class hunting, great golf course, great people. Why not stop here? I mean, people drive down 44, don't even know. They see Fort Leonard, they don't know what's there. If they see the sign that says museum. Right now, the post is open during the day, so you show your ID card, you can come in. So I'm trying to figure out how do we get people access to the base to go golf and be there past 9 o'clock, but I got to figure it out. I don't know. That's one of my tasks. But I think we got to tell the story. Who else? Yes, sir.
The military naturally has a double whammy. First of all, we're in a post-war contraction. And secondly, then you had sequestration, which wasn't anticipated. Even the great guru said it had never happened. So how have those two separate events impacted the port? And there's an asymmetric relationship with how the sequestration is hitting. Some areas are getting hit bigger than the troop division, but how do you anticipate the impact post-war contraction and the impact of sequestration?
Yes, that's a very good question. Very, very good question. I got the answer. There are challenges, and we're gathering data to provide to training and doctor command of those challenges. Because, for me, when we have furloughs, most of the folks take it on Monday or Friday. That means they got 3 days of work. And then so then you have soldiers who have to pick up whatever those, the work doesn't stop because we still got to produce the soldiers that got to come out. So some folks said, hey, well, why don't we just shut the base down the whole day? Can't do that. Because think about it, we still got troopers in contact in Afghanistan. We still have soldiers in Iraq. We got soldiers in 150 countries doing things that they need to do. So we have a responsibility to produce those things. Here's the other bottom line. People ask me, well, what do you think politically? Not my lane. Support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. You will not get me in a debate on that one. So the issue is that we come up with plans and processes to meet the mission, but also say, hey, this is the risk associated with what we're doing. And there are risks associated with what we do. And the longer we go, there are higher risks. So my job is to mitigate the risks that I can do at my level, and then take it up to the TRADOC commander or the chief of staff of the Army. Say, hey, sir, this is areas that I cannot support the risk. Now, that is even more important while we have to work together as a community. So if we know that there are capabilities that exist here, and we're being duplicative in another area, why not combine without being told to do it? You understand what I'm saying? If we know, again, that comes back to that strategy. Where we want to go as a community to make those ends meet, figuring out how we work better together to achieve that goal. Okay? Who else? Yes, sir. Nice time, man.
Thanks, sir. Special occasion.
Sir, as you know, there's a significant reserve component presence at Fort Leonard as well with Army Reserve and Missouri National Guard.
Sure.
With the realignments and drawdowns shifting somewhat that force structure, can you see the potential for even more reserve component presence and involvement at Fort Leonard?